Hello, how are you today? I'm really excited to share something with you that will just rock your world. It's called a Stinger mac and cheese. And my son was just visiting, and he has celiac disease. So I promised him I'd make him something really special for a meal. And this is what he chose, Stinger mac and cheese. I had never heard of it. What is Stinger mac and cheese? Well, Stinger mac and cheese is done with chicken fingers, and we're going to toss them in a bit of Frank's Red Hot sauce and a little butter prior to it. And these are gluten-free chicken fingers. You can find them out there. And steakums, it calls for in the recipe. But I found some real sliced, thin steak that I am going to use on Season Up, and we'll use that instead of the steakums. But go home and don't stop. Just use the steakums if that's what you got. I wanted to make my chicken fingers fresh from scratch for my son Eric, but he's like, no, Mom, I just want this beautiful Stinger mac and cheese. So if you have celiac, this recipe can be done totally gluten-free with gluten-free chicken fingers and also the cup for cup flour. So that's all you need. And the pasta, of course, available gluten-free. Get any size or shape that you want. That's not really important here. So let's get going. This is a fun recipe. For the chicken fingers, when I made it for my son, I did not season the chicken fingers. I just sliced them up and layered it in the mac and cheese. But he recommended that I make that Frank's Red Hot sauce, with a little bit of butter. So I'm going to try that. And today I'm going to toss my chicken fingers in with a little bit of the Frank's Red Hot sauce, just like I was making chicken wings, and a little bit of the Red Hot. Not a little bit. I'll take my lid right off. Here we go. So, equal parts butter and Frank's Red Hot sauce. And to that, I'm just going to add a little granulated garlic. And because it's me, I'm going to add a little bit of my hot sauce as well. Why not? Just a little dab will do ya. And let's toss those chicken wings in the butter, just like we were tossing deep fried wings. And now, really, I think that'll add a lot of flavor to this mac and cheese. Stinger style, so just a dot, and that's just for a little bit of extra heat. Let's whisk that together. There we go. The butter's all melted. Oh, and it smells good. Oh my gosh, I love buffalo. Here we go. So let's toss our fingers, and I just defrosted them, and now I'm just going to toss them in a little bit of the Frank's Red Hot sauce and butter. I really think this will pick it up. So just toss it in the bowl, and we'll let that set. And I didn't cook these or anything. I'm just tossing them with that. I defrosted them. That's it. So we'll let that sit there. And now let's take care of our beef. So what are we going to do with our beef? Go ahead and use your steakums if you have them. If not, I'm just going to add some fresh ground or some kosher salt, a little fresh ground black pepper, and how about a little granulated garlic? Let me get my pan good and hot, and we are just going to cook these ahead of time. We'll sear them. Let's get a nice hot pan going. There we go. And beef has two sides. So believe it or not, I'm going to do both sides. So let's get that seasoned up. Wow, Stinger mac and cheese. So I guess the big thing is the Stinger subs. I don't eat a lot of subs, so I didn't know about it. So Stinger represents some sort of chicken fingers and this steak idea loaded on a sub with hot sauce, etc., etc. So once again, like I said, has two sides, so I'm going to season them both. And when you're adding your salt, hold it up high, okay? So it sprinkles around. You go like this, you just get one spot. So nice and high there. And the same thing with the granulated garlic or garlic powder, whatever it is. Any chance I can, I get some seasoning, I get some flavor into this. What I always do is I layer the layers of flavors. One layer of flavor, another layer of flavor. We're just adding all the time. So I'm just going to add a little bit of, you could use like a ghee, a coconut oil if you want. I've just got a real light olive oil here that I'm using. Get your pan good and hot. We want to sear this, and we want to sear it up real quick because it's so thin. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to get that all ready, and then we'll go over our mise en place for the recipe. I just wanted to have this cooked and cooled before I started with my sauce, my cheese sauce. Now that pan looks good. So always when you add something in the pan, put it away from you, okay? So the grease splashes that way. Or the oil, whatever you're using. Just add a little bit more. I want to cook this high and I'm going to cook it fast, okay? High and fast. So make sure your burner's high. Oh, this is going to be great. I love mac and cheese. I love lobster mac and cheese, seafood mac and cheese, sausage mac and cheese. Take this as an idea and use whatever filler you have. But mac and cheese does not have to be boring. You know, let's make it exciting. And this is so simple. I want the family to cook this together. Get the kids in the kitchen. Okay, get them organized. Get all the mise en place together and then get together and cook. That's what I would love to see. Alright, so I got it all in there. I'm going to rinse this off. Hot soapy water. Alright, that's just about ready. So nice and thin. It so cooks up so quick. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Seasoned up so nice. Add flavor at every level you can. So that looks great. It's ready. I'm going to pull that off. We'll let that cool and we'll slice that up. And we're going to add that to that mac and cheese. That looks good. Now in this pan, since I've got all the flavor, I am going to continue, and I'm just going to add a little more oil. And what makes the stinger of mac and cheese so exciting is the use of a red pepper and some onions. And you can even add garlic if you want. So I'm going to add a little bit of red peppers and onions, and we're going to saute that ahead of time. So we've got our chicken fingers, we've got our beef coming together. There we go. I'll saute that up. Season it as well. Put that right back in the bowl. Looking good there. Always have your side towel. You know, that handle's hot, so I don't want you to burn yourself. So I always wear a side towel. And I'm missing Chile, and I feel like a hat because I don't have a good hair day. So enjoy. I lived in Chile for a month. And with Buff State, traveled abroad. I'm a recent graduate of the Buff State CTE program. And I'm a home and careers teacher, so I'm so excited. This is one of the recipes I'll be sharing with my students. Gotta get them in the kitchen, you know, that's my job. Now I want you to saute this out till fragrant. So, fragrance this. Bring it up to your nose, okay? Bring it up to your nose. Give it a nice jump. And when we're doing this, we're just shaking the pan. We're using the lip of the pan that curves up, forward, back, and just bring it right at you. Okay, and it's a snap of the wrist. That's all I'm doing. Okay, just a little bit longer. Once again, I'm going to season that. A little salt, a little pepper, and a little bit of granulated garlic. I'm always trying to impart flavor whenever I can. So, just make sure you saute it out. You're releasing all those natural sugars from the onions. That's why I'm sauteing it out. I'm bringing these beautiful flavors together. So, there we go. That's nice. The onions are transparent, fragrant. It smells good. I didn't add any garlic, fresh garlic, but if you like fresh garlic, go ahead and add that as well. Okay, now we have to make our sauce. Okay, that's the fun part. The sauce. So don't be afraid of this sauce. That's what I don't understand. It's a simple bechamel, we say. It's, let's lay it out here in front of us. I'm going to put this aside, let everything cool, and let's talk about our sauce. Okay, here it is. This looks great. Okay, so our sauce is bound with a roux. A roux is butter and flour. Kind of cook it out till it looks like sand. So I have equal parts butter and flour. If you were celiac, what you would use is, I brought some here. This is what I use for my son. It's gluten-free and it's cup to cup. And this just substitute right out. It means cup to cup. It just transfers over into any recipe. You've got your gluten-free pastas out there. There's all different styles, shapes, sizes. So don't think that you're going to suffer if you have celiac and you can't have pasta, but you can. All right, so I've got 8 ounces, or excuse me, I've got 4 ounces of butter. I've got 4 ounces of flour, 3 cups of milk, and 4 cups of shredded cheddar. My seasoning choice is Dijon mustard. I love a little Dijon mustard. Just give it a little bit. And, of course, a little of my hot sauce, or you can use the Frank's again, and a little Worcestershire sauce. So I'm going to put this together. Let's get our pan good and hot. And I know I used 2 pans, actually 3, one with the pasta, but you could have boiled your pasta in this pot. I have it all boiled ahead of time, and I just strained it off, and I rinsed it with a little bit of cold water just to take a break. So the first thing you're going to do is make a roux, and equal parts butter and flour. So here we go. And I'm going to add my butter and melt that first. There we go. Got to get all that. This is what thickens your sauce. This is what defines your sauce. Can you live without the butter and the flour? Well, you can use more, maybe if you wanted to use like an evaporated milk or something like that. That's already thick. There are options if you want to stay away from that. But it's a roux. I'm making pretty much like a bechamel. And it's one of the mother sauces. So this is kind of fun for the students in the class to see this come together. So there's our seasonings. And I wanted to say how interesting. This week we received in our box, our Farmers to Families box for the Buffalo Public Schools, we received some beautiful brie cheese in the box. We also received the chicken fingers. So hence, this recipe is for you, anybody out there who's got that big, beautiful box, Farmers to Families, which all the Buffalo Public Schools families can go to the schools and pick up. Either pick it up on Wednesdays or Fridays from 11 to 1 at any of the schools that are handing out the free lunches. So take advantage of it. It's loaded. I'm doing applesauce next. My inspiration for the mac and cheese, the Stinger mac and cheese, was the chicken fingers, and I just learned what Stinger was. So sounds like a drink, some people say. So I've melted my butter. I'm going to add my flour and just whisk that good. Remember, that handle's hot. So this is what's going to thicken our sauce, and I really want you to see it. It kind of reminds me like of the beach, of like sand, you know. It's got a real sandy look. So just melt that. That looks so good. See it bubbling? Now I'm adding cold milk to this. Do not add hot milk. I'm going to add cold milk to this, and I'm going to whisk feverishly, okay, because it's going to start to thicken up. So I'm taking a break right now, okay? Let's whisk feverishly. There we go. And this is going to thicken up right in front of you. Just get all that roux in there. I love it, that roux. When I was in culinary school, we had a one chant, Mirepoix, roux. Chop them up, dice them up, put them in the stew. We always used to sing that at the hockey games. Anyway, so there we go. Now it'll thicken as it heats. So what I'm going to do now is add my seasoning. Once again, we're layering it with some seasoning. We've got a little Worcestershire sauce. Just give it a shake. You don't need too much, okay? A little bit of my hot sauce, or of course, red hot Tabasco, whatever you like, just to pick it up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's perfect. We don't need any more of that. The Dijon mustard, I'd say a tablespoon. There's something about that mustard. I don't know what it does, but there's a beautiful tablespoon. We got that in there. It's looking good. It's feeling good already. All right, and our cheeses will be last. I'm going to add a little fresh ground black pepper and a little bit of kosher salt. Whisk that together, and it's just starting to thicken now. Let's taste it first, though, okay? Let's see where we're at. And let's just let that flour cook out just a little bit. And there we go. That looks beautiful, okay? Didn't start to thicken yet, so I'm going to take a chance and give it a taste. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to add our cheese. You can add mozzarella, Parmesan, Asiago, grated cheddar, white cheddar, whatever you'd like to add. Go ahead. I am definitely going to add some of this brie because it's going to give it some creaminess like no other. I'm going to take the rind off. The rind you might find just too earthy for the kids. So just remove some of that rind from the brie. And this is really creamy, and it's just going to be beautiful in that. So I'm just going to add that right now. I just cut that in pieces. Oh, it's thickening up. All right, here we go. So I've got my brie in there. All right, and I just want to add, I'm going to save this for later. That's enough brie. And I can have that for my snack, all right? So the cheese sauce is about ready. I'm going to bring it right to the board, which is hot. Shut my burner off. Add my cheddar. I'll just save, I have some more in the fridge. I'll save a little bit more for on top. And let's just incorporate that. That is your cheese sauce. It's a simple bechamel, milk and flour. You don't have to use heavy cream. That's too expensive. Just use regular old milk. We thickened it up nicely. And whisk that in really good. That's it. That is your sauce. I'm going to taste it and see if it needs any more salt or pepper or maybe a little more hot sauce. And it looks thick and it looks delicious. And we're just going to add our pasta right to that. Let me check here. Let me just check. I can't wait. Very well seasoned. Beautifully done. All right, so I just think it needs just a little more kosher salt. Sorry about that. Just a little more kosher salt. And I'm not finding that little bit of heat that I want, so I'm just going to add a dab more. But I got that mustard. How about a little garlic powder? Why don't we add just a little garlic powder? I didn't even mention that. You could have sauteed the garlic, and I didn't have fresh garlic today. So my pan is hot. My cheese is beautiful. I'm going to add my my cooked pasta and grab my pan and just take a look at that. It's just cheesy, beautiful, and so delicious. So let's add our pasta to that. I wonder if I can get it all in there. I'm thinking I can. There we go. That looks good. Whoa, little baby. Get back in my pan. That looks good. And I'm going to grab myself a beautiful, just a nice pan to bake it in. I spray my pan and just a little cheese sauce is sticky. Let's spray. And we're just going to finish this in the oven at 400 degrees just till it starts to bubble. And let's just layer it with all our flavors, okay? So that looks good. I'll start out with one layer. Make sure I have enough. Oh, I got more. I've got plenty going on here. I can use all that. There we go. We'll get that in there. That's enough cheese sauce. That was one box, one pound, 16 ounces. And I love these little pasta shells because I think they get like a little cup in them and they kind of hold that little sauce in there. So exciting and so good. So I'm going to just do one layer of this, and then we'll do a layer of the meat, the fingers, and the steak. Now this is a full meal, I would say. So let's leave that there. I'll put half in my pan. Okay, that's good right there. And that looks good. I'm going to finish that now with my, that there. With my steak. Spread that around. Okay. That's cheesy good. And you can use Swiss cheese, whatever you'd like. So that steak is good. I don't mind that flavor in there. Let's put that in there. Why not? And let's just make some nice slices. This steak, let's see how it tastes. I have to. So I guess the steakums would work fine. But this is just a little meatier. Okay, let's sprinkle that with our steak. Okay, and let's kill it now. Let's get those chicken fingers in there. I love that idea. Stinger. That's what I love about my children. You know, they keep us young. They educate us. So here's my fingers. I'm going to cut those up. Not too small, so let's see how many we got. And they're really going to add some flavor with that Frank's Red Hot sauce and butter. So we'll toss those in. Let me just give that a quick 1 and a 2. And use your knife to bring it up in 2. And last but not least, oh, what did I forget? Onions and peppers. And then we'll cover that all up with our second layer of mac, and we'll bake that in the oven until it's bubbly and delicious. And there we go. This is all cooled, so I'm just sprinkling that. So if you don't like onions, don't use onions. If you don't like the red peppers, you don't need that. These are all just ideas. If you have some leftover vegetables in your fridge, throw those in and saute those up as well if you'd like. I'm going to add the rest of my macaroni and cheese, and we'll top that with that. And I don't think it needs anything more. Sometimes I used to put like breadcrumbs and butter on top, but I'm not, because we got enough of the breadcrumbs in the chicken fingers. So I'm using my spatula. I'm not going to waste anything. You can finish this with a little more cheese on top if you want. Like I said, I don't think the breadcrumbs are necessary. And that is a Stinger mac and cheese. My gift to you, if you have celiac, don't worry about it. I want you to go out there and make this up for a large group. People won't even know that you said it was gluten-free. So bake in the oven. At least 20 minutes, nice and bubbly. Do it at 400 and don't cover it, okay? And then serve it. So thank you so much for joining me today in the kitchen. And remember, food is love, so keep cooking. Bring the family together around the table and talk about your day. Have a good day now. Ciao. Thank you.